Good evening. I think I saw some of you this morning. My name is Bishop Gregory Aymond. I'm the Catholic bishop here in the Diocese of Austin. But in this particular testimony that I give, I represent the 24 Roman Catholic bishops of the state of Texas. And we have, in our meeting last week, actually, we had a regular meeting, and we discussed the House Bill 3474 and discussed it, and actually went into some detail discussing the bill as well as some cases related to it, and voted very much in favor, unanimously in favor, and I'd like to speak to that. I'm particularly grateful to Chair DeLisi and to the committee for the opportunity to address you, because it is my understanding, if my understanding is correct, that some people have misrepresented the Catholic position, and they have done so by trying to speak to legislators in our name, and we believe that this has caused some serious confusion, and so I hope that in some way I can bring in some sense of unity the position of the Catholic bishops for the state of Texas. First of all, we as bishops have studied these issues, and this is part of our tradition for a long time. We believe that nutrition and hydration are ordinary care, and the bill certainly speaks to that. We also very much support clarifying the definition of irreversible condition. That is very important that that be clarified. And also that we believe that the disabled should always receive the care that they need and that they deserve, and not be discriminated against in any way. Thirdly, we support providing better and more compassionate communication by a patient liaison trained in hospice care. This would be a wonderful gift to this whole process. And lastly, we support wholeheartedly extending the notification period of the family about the process to 7 days and transfer to 21 days. We are very much in support of that. Beyond the bill, I would like to speak just for a few moments about what we believe and have taught as a Catholic Church for a very, very long time. This is not a new teaching. It certainly takes on new light as technology develops. But as long as 50 years ago, this has been articulated by the popes of the Church, that as a Catholic Church, we do not believe that a terminally ill person should be kept alive by machines or technology, that is not truly human life, and perhaps even standing in the way of God calling that person home to his kingdom. We believe, and the tradition of our church has always taught, that a person should be allowed to die with dignity and have a peaceful death. And we believe that that is in conformity to God's will, and that God is the one who chooses life and death, and that the moral teaching of the Church should not interfere, that it is our teaching of the Church that we should not interfere with that. We also believe, and have discussed this, that sometimes families, through no fault of their own, are really not able to make those decisions because of their involvement, because of the emotions. In summary, ordinary medical means should provide healing and hope for recovery. If there is no possibility of healing or hope for recovery, we would call that extraordinary means, and an extraordinary means over an extended period of time for a terminally ill patient. And I have to say that again. Extraordinary means over an extended period of time for a terminally ill patient is not charity to the patient or to the family. The person has a right to die peacefully and with dignity. And that is very different. Some people have compared this to the Terry Scheibel case. That is very different. In the Terry Scheibel case, her death was caused by the withdrawal of nutrition and hydration. That's what caused her death. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a terminally ill person. All of this, as I draw this to a conclusion, all of this is not just academic theology for me. Just 7 months ago, I worked with, lovingly, my sister and brother-in-law when they had to make a decision to withdraw extraordinary means from my 24-year-old nephew who was in a motorcycle accident. And they came to me with the question, what do we do? What is the most merciful thing that we can do for Kurt? And I was involved in that decision, certainly as a brother and brother-in-law, but also as a bishop and as a person giving consultation. I would like to conclude not with my words, but with the words of John Paul II. As we know, I don't know of anybody who has been more pro-life in his whole life as John Paul II. And in 1995, he wrote the encyclical on life called The Gospel of Life. And he addresses a number of life issues, and he specifically addresses the issue that we are talking about tonight. And I would like to quote from that document. He says, euthanasia must be distinguished from the decision to forego so-called aggressive medical treatment. In other words, medical procedures which no longer correspond to the real situation of the patient, either because now they are disproportionate to any expected results, or because they impose an excessive burden on the patient and the family. He says, in such situations, when death is clearly imminent and inevitable, one can certainly in conscience refuse forms of treatment that would only secure a precarious and burdensome prolongation of life, so long as the normal care due to the sick person in similar cases is not interrupted. Conclusion. To forego extraordinary or disproportionate means is not the equivalent of suicide or euthanasia. It expresses the acceptance of the human condition in the face of death. And he is in my mind, he is very clear. And that was not really a new teaching of the Church. He reiterated the teaching of the Church that had very much been in force for over 50 years. So I present this to you as for two reasons. One, in clarification, because I do think that our position as the bishops of the state of Texas has been misinterpreted. Secondly, I believe that the bill that is before us is filled with charity and compassion and is in the best interest of a dying person. A person has a right to die with dignity and in peace. And God is the one who calls a person to himself. And if we keep a person alive beyond that, I think we have to ask the question, are we trying to play God?
Members, Representative Jackson, sir, has a question.
I don't know how this is going to come out, Bishop, but from this old Baptist boy, some of what you said will preach.
Well, get me a job. I'm looking for a night job now. I think I have one tonight. I don't usually preach at 11:30 at night.
Sir, we thank you. Oh, yes, Representative King has a question.
Yes,
sir.
I just have to say, I'm not a Catholic, and I don't go to Mass often, but I have to say, Representative Jackson is right. What you said was compelling, and irrespective if anyone agrees with you, I appreciate you being here, but I also wanted to say I apologize for whatever the circumstances were that your beliefs or convictions were misconstrued. I think in this building, as majestic as it is, that happens to all of us sometimes. And I am sorry that happened to you. And
believe it or not, it even happens in the church sometimes.
Oh, yes. Of course. But thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Representative Lovenberg.
Oh, and I'm not Catholic, so please bear with me. But you said that you represent all the Catholic...
The Roman Catholic bishops of the state of Texas.
Okay, so is there another group of Catholics? You said that there was someone representing the Catholics that are misrepresenting you. I
think my understanding is that there are some who have... First of all, the bishops of the state of Texas are in unison. We are completely unanimous on this understanding and in support of the bill for reasons that it coincides with the teaching of the Roman Catholic Church. We think that there are some people, maybe Catholic, maybe not, but there are
the parishes around the...
No, I think there's some people who have misinterpreted the teachings of the Church or have replaced that teaching with their own opinion and have said that it's our teaching. I would assume it's honest misunderstanding on their part, but that has not helped us get the message out as to where we stand.
Okay, so the priest...
The priest would be in total unison with us.
Okay.
And the leaders of, the Catholic Health Association are in complete unison with us. I think it's some well-intentioned people who do not understand the church teaching, and at times we replace the teaching of something with our own opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that's what happened. But as the teaching of the church is clear, and certainly our priests would go along with this. I mean, it's in a letter from John Paul II, and we don't usually question him. We didn't question him too much when he was alive, but certainly now that he's dead, we don't question him.
That would be difficult to do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much. And how did your confirmation go tonight?
It was very nice. Thank you. I was in Luling.
Okay.
So it was very nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair Delisi.